Hey guys, I know Carrie just went live in this group, and I also know there was a little hiccup with posting for questions for me because Jenny, who does all that, was traveling and just kind of didn't get the scheduling correct because she's doing so many things and she juggles a lot, and we're grateful for her. So anyway, I figured I would just come live and answer questions for those of you that are on live, and then also see if anything has popped up. Sorry, just okay, let me let you guys in. Hi. I was just saying to no one, because I didn't let anyone in, that I know Carrie just went live for you guys. And we didn't, I don't think we had enough time to put up another question box for me, or we did, but maybe not enough time for questions to come through. But I figured I could still pop on here anyway. And what do you know? No, don't eat that, baby. Oh my God, this dog. You just want to eat everything you can eat. When does that stop? I thought it stopped when they got a little older. Let me just see what's going on. Why am I not connected? Oh, I see. Okay. So anyway, hi. So Jenny messaged me this morning and she was like, I didn't get the question box up in time. And it's not a big deal. So let me just pull us up, see if there are any questions. And then I know Ellen and Linda, you guys are on. Let me just look at the questions first. And then if you guys have anything burning, I'll have you unmute and you can ask away. There's my tea. It felt like I had so many emails to dig out of this morning. My goodness. Okay, charging, good. Let's see. Okay. There was an error with scheduling. Okay, so there are no questions, but let me just see. Carla, 11 hours ago. Okay, so but I have two messages from Carrie, voice memos that I haven't even listened to yet this morning. So I'm assuming she's downloading me on what happened when she went on. Yeah, and we really shouldn't have us scheduled back to back like this. So I think that's another thing I'm gonna say. Hi, Aimee. Well, let me just email that. But if you guys have anything, okay, I'm just gonna say okay. And for future, let's not have 2 in 1 week. So Jackie, just put me in to fill the gap around the other coaches. That way you guys, because obviously you're going to get me on Thursday too. Okay, let me just do this. And then, I don't know, Ellen, do you want to unmute? You have anything you want to talk about?
Hi, sorry, I'm driving. I'm not getting
Oh, it's
on.
okay.
I actually really don't have any burning questions. I just thought I'd pop
You
on.
don't? It's
I
okay.
know, can you believe it? I'm getting my HSG done today.
Okay.
That's really it. I'm kind of in a waiting game.
Okay.
But I just thought I'd come on and listen. So now I'm just here. Yeah, we're all here.
Okay. Well, good. So yeah, but you're feeling good. All right. Yeah, you don't have to have any
Yeah,
questions. And then again, I'm live on Thursday in the e-course group, and all the things. And
great.
we're right here for you. Any questions? So okay. So drive safe and
Thank
listen. Maybe
you.
Linda.
Okay.
Linda's about to do right. You're coming to the States anyway. Maybe Linda's will have some insight for you because she's about to do like a hysteroscopy and all the things. Anyway, Linda, if you have questions, do you want to unmute and speak away?
Yeah, Aimee, I have a few questions.
Sure.
So the trip to the US is kind of on hold. We're looking at other options. So we have everything on the table and
Okay.
make decisions. But as you know, I had my meeting with Marco.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that he proposed to me was either PRP, ovarian rejuvenation, or adipose PRP, ovarian
Right.
rejuvenation. So I wanted to know what would you think I should opt for? Which one? Adipose is only done by Murray, no?
Also Dr. Brown on his team. And
No, I mean
there's
like
also
no.
a guy in Greece who does it too. So you don't have to travel to the US if you don't want to. I have all the Greece information as well. It's a little cheaper in Greece from what I understand. And one of our girls in Nuja, who's in another group, just did it in Greece. So you know what? Let me just pull up your chart. I don't know. My initial sense is I don't know that we need to go and do adipose. I would think regular PRP, like I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. This question came up in the group too, I think like last week or 2 weeks ago, where I was like, listen, with the adipose, the thing is you get the PRP, right? And then it's also, I don't think there's any harm in doing the adipose. It's going to be a little more money. And you have to go under anesthesia. But I want that hysteroscopy done on you, and they can do that all at the same time then, right? And even the Greek doctor, I believe, could do that as well. Let me just pull up your chart, Linda. Because it's like if our AMH is super low, which just forgive me that I can't remember that right now for you.
It's
Then
0.39.
what is it? Go. What is it?
0.39.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not, in my opinion, that's not super low, but I think about like, okay, you have to travel for the procedure. You know, if the regular PRP has like a 2 to 3 month lasting rate, whereas the adipose can last up to 8 months. So I do think like from a financial and travel perspective, we go and we get the most bang for our buck. So, and if you're going to go under anesthesia, just do it once and get the hysteroscopy at the same time. So I think that would be my answer, actually, now that I speak it out loud.
Yeah, I just feel so much more comfortable going to the US, but that's another option, no Greece.
Yeah, he's a very, very like well-known doctor. He has been doing PRP. He's one of the originators of PRP. And so there's that. I'm pulling up that email too. I can forward you this. I'm going to send this over to you, basically. This is the Crete Fertility Center. So this is all the information he has shared with other clients. And so without sharing their information, I'm just copy and pasting. So Greek Center, I'll just say that. It's in Crete. You could do a consult as well. And I think, I mean, Marco had texted me after you guys talked, and I just said, I really wanted her to get a hysteroscopy. And he said, no, that'll happen. That'll be in the mix, great conversation. And so, I think it's now up to you what decision. Maybe you look at flights and you know what I mean? Like things like that. Like I would love for it to be a trip that you could get more out of in the sense of some fun time too. So where do you want to visit more? New York or Crete? I mean, I would think about that, right?
Right. I like the idea of going home and being with my family and doing that trip there. But there are other things where I was gonna send a very long email to Sarah explaining to her what we're thinking about, but I haven't gotten a chance to do that, but I will.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna put my headphones in. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm just grabbing my
I'm not
headphones.
sure if you're more comfortable with my video on. I don't mind putting on the video.
Oh, it's not that. It's Jean's here packaging thing. So I should probably have my headphones on anyway. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. You can put it on if you want. And
Okay.
so let's okay. Great. Okay. Let's say okay, so then tell me, I don't know where else. It's like I know you never got the Bujang Yichichang, which is a bummer. So I agree. Like some of the benefits to coming over here is like A, you could see us, B, we could get you herbs. Like there are lots of upsides. I mean, Ellen, I don't know if you're still listening, she's going to be in New York too at some point for her treatment, and that's like it kind of makes it exciting for us selfishly that we would
get to see you in person. That always excites me. The adipose they're doing in Connecticut, you know. So
I told Marco that if I do decide to do IVF, I would love to do it with them. And I even contemplated moving over there for a few months just to do it with them. And he said, no, he was thinking I was trying to say something else.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm being serious. I would move there for a few months and do that. But we're looking at all our options right now. And I'm not sure.
I mean, there's great Airbnbs, like, you know what I mean? I would just like look around and see. You don't even have to be in New York City proper, because where's your mom? Is she
My
in
mom is in
Florida?
Tampa, yeah.
Yeah, in Tampa. It's also an easy flight. There's a airport, New Haven. It's called Tweed Airport, TWEED. And they have flights from Tampa to New Haven, which is about an hour, 25, 30 minutes from the Westport Clinic. You can fly for under like $70, $80, depending on the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's another option of like, you could just be in Tampa and then come up here for, you know what I mean? And then stay. And the hotels up here are a lot less expensive than New York City because you're an hour from the city. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think there's a way you could do it that would be reasonable, and you could be like in the Connecticut area too, that I cut out. So.
Okay. And yeah, getting things done like the GI map, that's finally here, and I can't.
Right.
Shipping over there is being very complicated for me to get the GI map over, the Dutch test, all these things.
Yeah.
That's just I can't do if I'm supplementing with progesterone in a luteal phase, no?
No, you can. We just take that into account. So it's just like we just know then. You know what I mean? But we get information on all the other hormones and all the other things. And so I think it's fine. Marcella, who's in one of the other groups, she did it on hormones, and it was still really useful information.
Okay, I thought something else. Okay. And so I wanted to ask you about acupuncture. I'm in a very small town in Spain.
Yeah.
And the acupuncturist, she's kind of young. I don't think she knows. I don't know. She just gives me that sensation. She's very good, but she gives me the sensation of, I'm not sure, because she always puts the needles in the same points. Always.
Okay.
Although I tell her that I'm in the luteal phase, she doesn't seem to know exactly follicular phase, luteal phase. It seems to, she's like, okay, when you tell me not to put the moxibustion, when she like separates it, when you can be pregnant or when you, like when I tell her, no?
Oh, yeah.
And so I was kind of like worried about, okay, so should she be doing certain things in the luteal phase and the follicular phase? Should I be looking for?
I wouldn't need, we tend to not, we don't do heat over the abdomen. So if she has the heat lamp, we don't do that in the luteal phase. We don't do moxa on the abdomen in the luteal phase. Sometimes we'll still do it on other points, like especially the foot points on the spleen channel. So it's like the abdomen, we're just really protective of that in the luteal phase is what I would say, like below the belly button. So no heat down there, no moxa down there, and we typically don't needle down there if you could be pregnant. Those are the big ones.
Never needles there.
Okay.
And she always puts it on the same points, and the heat lamp are always on my feet.
Okay. So she is being smart, I'd say that. Where does she put the needles? Can you point?
She always puts here.
Okay. P6.
Here.
Li3. Okay. And 2. Okay.
And she puts it around here because she told me this is the point where she can't put it. And she puts
when you could be pregnant. That's why I was asking. I wanted to see what she did with Li4. Yeah. Li4 should not be used. That point, not when you could be pregnant. So if she knows that, then she knows what she's doing. She just maybe practices a little differently. And this is like, I also think like, you can't screw up acupuncture, if you will. Like, how do I mean that? Like, no matter kind of where we put the points, it's going to help improve circulation and blood flow, right? And it's going to, help the body come back to homeostasis. It's more about like doing harm when we could be pregnant. That's what I'm super particular about. But like I had a good friend who just hurt her back, and there's an acupuncturist in our hometown. She came to see me in my NIAC office, but she was like, should I see this person? And I was like, to be honest, and excuse my language, I'm like, you can't really fuck it up. Like, it's back pain. You're just going to put the needles where they're supposed to be, and she was like, okay. I was like, like you worry about like if they're using really long needles and they're like going to hit an organ, but like it's typically we're all safe. We're not going to hurt you. But then it's just more that she's conscious of when you could be pregnant. That would be my biggest thing. But like, yeah, you want to feel, I don't know. So I guess my answer is like, I still think getting acupuncture would be more beneficial than not.
Right. Yeah.
You could also say to her and see how she responds to this of like, you know, that you're working with us and we are acupuncturists and these are some points that we would use if you were there in person, if
Exactly.
you wanted us to do that.
Yeah, that would be wonderful because she's so willing. She's so willing to do whatever I asked her to do.
Okay.
So if I could get some points from you guys, I could ask her. And I think in the US, acupuncture is pretty expensive, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on where you go. But it can be, you know, we charge around like one.
Inexpensive,
Yeah,
150.
how much is it there?
So it's like 40 euros, $45.
Right. That's a lot cheaper. I mean, we probably charge 3 times as much as that. You know, I think a visit with Sarah is like 150 or 160.
Yeah.
But we also, in our clinic, I think we charge more because we spend so much time with our patients and we're like doing this during the session. Do you know what I mean? If the community, they have community style acupuncture over here and it's like $40, $50 and you're just getting needles and they're just moving along and there's no conversation. That's an option here. People do that here and they go to like Chinatown and stuff like that. It's fine. And a lot of our patients will see us once a month and pay more for that like kind of coaching that comes with it. And then they see someone who's a lot cheaper once a month. So they get it twice a month and they're kind of volleying. And that I'm all for that because I only go in once a month. I'm like, you go to your guy that charges $50 and do that because it's not going to hurt
That's
anything.
what I was
See
worrying
me.
about, like the expertise, no? Like the expertise that you
And so you're not going to necessarily, you're obviously, you know, you're not getting that from her. She doesn't. But like when you come see us, we know what your, you know, AMH means. And like we talk to doctors, like it's a very different experience, right? And that's why, like for me, I charge $195 an acupuncture session. And I feel really good about that because you can also email me after and I'm going to answer and I'm prescribing herbs and I'm putting you on a diet, you know, so you don't just get acupuncture with me or with Sarah.
Yeah, that's why her sessions, I like, they didn't seem very specialized. They didn't very, So
I'm going to write some out in the follicular phase. I would do spleen 4. Okay. Pericardium 6. Yeah. So, I mean,
she does a lot on my legs and my feet.
Yeah. Okay. Which I like. I think that's fine. So let me just see. Kidney 16. Kidney 6. Sorry. Ren 4, 6. Okay. And then in the luteal phase. And so I think you could just say, I'll say something like, these are ideas. I would still go based on tongue and pulse and Chinese medicine diagnosis. I think that's just a respectful thing to do. Go by tongue and pulse and Chinese medicine.
Yeah, that's another thing she never checks. Never checks my tongue.
She doesn't. Yeah. So it's like that to me, you guys have heard me say that. Like, I want you to be with an acupuncturist who looks at your tongue, checks your pulse every time. Even better if they're palpating, that kind of stuff. So, but it's like, if that's your option. I mean, the other thing is you could go see her once a month and you could do the acupressure on yourself the other times. You know, we have that guide that comes with, you know, but maybe I'm teaching her something here too. Let me just put spleen 6 here. She probably does spleen 6, I'm assuming. Yeah, these are ideas. Let me just see. I'm going to send you that. Okay. And I think if she's open to it, then I think that's great. Like, that's one thing. There's also, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like ways we could encourage her to study Chinese medicine and fertility more, right? You know?
Yeah, she says the herbs. When I was asking her about the herbs, she's like, "Oh, that's something I don't think I could." She's very sweet. She's very young. She's very sweet. It's like that's something I could
Right.
respect it. It's
Yeah,
like
I
something.
wonder what the schooling is. I mean, maybe she just did like a 2-year program. Like over in the US, it's just the standards are super high for acupuncture. That's probably why it's more expensive too, of like we all have like 4-year master's degrees. You know what I mean? It's like really different, I think, than in other places.
I think so. I agree.
Yeah.
And the other thing she does is biomagnetism. I don't know if
Okay,
you.
that's cool. Yeah, I think that's cool. I
So
mean, it's
she
similar. It's another energy medicine, if you will, you know?
found an imbalance on my right ovary.
Okay, that's cool. So maybe you use her for that, like, and think about it bigger picture of like energy medicine versus specific acupuncture, if that makes sense, you know?
And so, have you ever done that or none?
No,
No.
it's not something I've studied, but I definitely think it's interesting. And I would like, that's what I would say. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. I think, I think there's something to it because we are, you know, there's a book called The Body Electric. If you read that book, you're just like sold on the idea that like we are just electric. And that's kind of what acupuncture does too. We're just conducting electricity. That's literally what we're doing. We're hitting certain nerve spots and it's like conducting, you know. So that's the magnets are working similarly.
Yeah. And my next question. So antimicrobials, no, because I had heard you mention
Yeah.
oregano. I can't remember what else. But anyways, is garlic and turmeric something I should avoid because it's an antimicrobial in the luteal phase or not? Or is
Yeah, not necessarily, because those are pregnancy safe. Like those aren't strong. Like if you told me you were eating like 4 cloves of raw garlic a day to treat like a yeast infection or something, I would be like, don't do that. Do you know? But if you're having garlic cooked in food, totally fine. That makes sense.
turmeric
And in fact, like when women get sick during pregnancy, I tell them to make a tea steeped with garlic cloves, and it's like it's very effective. It's like taking an antibiotic, but it's not going to cause a miscarriage. Oregano oil and the things that are in like the GI microbics, those are very strong antimicrobial herbs that could cause a miscarriage.
Okay. And then the last thing, the Danwei Shayu song is what I'm taking, and I'm really enjoying it.
Good.
Really
It's such a good formula. I love it. Love it.
anything else?
I almost put everyone on it. It's very good constitutional for blood flow and just like invigorating and restoring. Yeah, sorry, I forgot too that you never received the bujang. I know in that email I was like, when you were like, I never got that one. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot.
It's in
I
Florida.
forgot that we sent it in 2 different things of like,
Yeah,
I
it's
remembered now. I sent that to your mom, right?
So depending on what I do, I'm not sure if we is there any other formula, because this is another thing I was going to ask Sarah, and she said that she would put me on one, but she didn't say which one, and I wanted to ask you if there's another formula I can go on. Oh, especially for low progesterone, because my progesterone is
Yeah, well,
really
that was the Bujang Yichi Tong. That's what we would put you on for the progesterone is the Bujang Yichi Tong. But the Dongui Xiaoyao-san is like also working on that because it's about building blood and nourishing that follicle. When we make that follicle really healthy, then progesterone should do its thing. So it's probably because we were on the same page about the Bujang. We had talked about it. So I'm assuming that would be the formula.
okay.
I'm assuming that would be it, but we can ask her too, you know, because that, you know, if we go all the way back to, usually Sarah, we all usually write our Chinese medicine diagnosis in our notes. It might take me a moment to find if it's, notes on you. Let me just do this. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I think we can, right. So Sarah said avoid these 4 acupuncture points, right? That was one.
Yeah.
So Sarah said gallbladder 20. Yeah. So I agree with those to make sure that she knows that's in the mix.
Put her to
What?
test. I put her to the test.
Oh, good. Good.
So
Okay.
which ones? And she pointed out immediately. I'm like, okay, as long as you're not touching them.
And this is the Chinese medicine diagnosis. I found it. I'm actually going to send that in the email I just sent with the act. I'm going to reply to that same email. Also let her know based on our intake of you, we believe this should help her too. Chinese medicine diagnosis is liver and spleen stagnation of blood, Qi stagnation due to dampness. There. That could help her too. So she could also add in spleen 9. I'm gonna send you one more email. I'm gonna update the points I touched. I'm just gonna updated points below. So just share this third one with her. I would do spleen 9 as well, and gallbladder 34. In the follicular phase only. These are ideas. Okay, she doesn't need to needle every point. So, but these are just ideas of things that I would probably have in my head thinking about you when I saw you. Do you know what I mean? Of like, okay, I want to move blood, I want to tonify blood, I want to move the Qi, which she's doing. Like all those points in your feet is like very Qi moving. This point, very Qi moving. But I'd probably add in the spleen 9 and the gallbladder 34, and then some lower abdominal points in the in the luteal phase.
Okay.
That makes sense, yeah. And then you should see emails from me now.
So another thing, if we have some more time,
Yeah.
the other thing is, so you, because of my situation now, we were thinking about, because we have the fertilizers, it's here, no? So
Right.
I'm gonna send in
Yeah.
the reproductive full this week.
Yeah.
The reproductive full, no? For the immunology. For
Yeah,
fertility.
okay.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't emailed Sarah. This is a decision we made like last minute because
Okay.
pregnancy. I did some, I called Hannah at Pregmune. And so we got the good faith estimate from Pregmune, from LabCorp, because that's they work with LabCorp and Resource. And the good faith estimate from Pregmune for the testing was $12,000. Because I can't pay,
12,000?
yeah,
Oh.
because I have it here. I was like, they're not gonna believe me, I have it here. And she said, no, Hannah said, no, that's normal, that's the price.
Yeah.
And she said that, well, it's because I have to pay out of pocket because I have no insurance. So with insurance, it'll be, but she did recommend Irma Basic with Fertilisis.
Yeah, and that's what Fertilisis is doing. So their RPL panel is the Irma Basic, basically. And so the one thing, if you haven't done the microbiome test yet, the Fertilisis, you have it. You've already completed it?
I've
because
done it.
that's included in the Fertilisis RPL. And I talked with Olympia. I tried to say, if they've done that, could I get them a refund? She said, unfortunately, no, because we have to use that same sample. But I would tell them, you haven't submitted it yet. Is there anything additional they can send you? And you just keep that in the fridge and complete the RPL panel to see if you can save that. It's like $800. You know what I mean? I would like you to save that. And I tried to get her to tell me that my patients could. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I forget what she said. I'll read it to you. Because I was like,
I tried
that's
that.
a lot of money.
What's her name? Victoria is who I talked to.
Yeah, they're honestly lovely. She said the Fertilisis RPL panel is a different panel comparing to Pregmune. First of all, our RPL panel combines two comprehensive panels, the reproductive immunology panel and the female microbiome, that cover two of the biggest, most important areas of unexplained infertility investigation: perform menstrual blood, vaginal swab samples, and peripheral blood. And then I wrote back and I said, thanks. Do you list somewhere every single test? And what if someone already completed the microbiome? Do you discount for that portion? She gave me then the list of tests, and she said, RPL is a more inclusive panel and already discounted comparing to if you purchase the tests separately. But they should buy the specific panel to get the discount. Unfortunately, it's not possible to partially do the test and then complete with the rest of the testing at a discount. So maybe that's already our answer. But I would just, I don't know.
We're fine, as long as it's not 12,000.
I know, you're right. We're talking 800. I just I just had another girl was like, "Can I repeat the Dutch?" I'm like, "It's $300. We don't really need to repeat it." Like I always am so protective of everybody's money. But you're right. Not mine to spend. It's yours, and it is a lot cheaper than $12,000. And Fertility and Pregmune are like they're like partners and they're friends, and so you're gonna get a very similar panel. You know, it's like Vidali and their doctor, I forget his name right now, have communicated, and for most people in Europe, they're recommending this instead because it's so expensive for you guys. Or you fly to the US. Yeah.
Something we need to do, we should do. But do you think, based on what you know of my case, that this isn't like that I have immunological, because I've never even had a
Yeah, it makes me think because you've never ever, so it's like it's either something in the uterine environment like structural scar tissue or some kind of immunological reaction. Those are my two thoughts. Yeah.
okay.
So I think it's smart. We have a girl, she's 45 and she just hit 12 weeks, a healthy baby in there, got pregnant on an IUI. She had 2 failed embryo transfers like last year. And they were both genetically tested embryos and neither took, right? And so then I had her get endometritis testing, which they should have tested her before, but they didn't. She came back positive. Then we treat the endometritis, we transfer the next one, doesn't take again. She is also so she has no recurrent pregnancy loss. This is why I'm sharing the story, but she's got some like autoimmune stuff. She gets these like hives and she's got this like skin thing. I don't know. I think about you with the bladder thing. You know what I mean? Like this kind of these curious things. And she's 45. She's very determined. She's like, I will do anything. And I was like, okay, I want you to get the Pregmune testing. I just want so she gets Pregmune. She comes back with a couple things. Vidali is in agreement with me. He's like, we're going to put you on steroids in the 2-week wait, baby aspirin in the 2-week wait. Upon a positive, we'll go to Lovenox, a higher dose of the steroids. She then decides to do IUIs. After we find this out, she's like, well, let's just try. Like, I've never been pregnant naturally. Let's try now and see. Second IUI, pregnant naturally. And she's now 11 weeks pregnant with 12 weeks with a healthy baby boy. And you can ask Sarah about this case too, because we talk about it a lot. We're convinced that if she hadn't done the Pregmune or the RPL panel, we would have just not gotten pregnant. Do you know what I mean? Until the point where maybe it'd be too late. And so, and it's interesting because now in her pregnancy, the thing with Pregmune, they do pregnancy testing too while you're pregnant to see what your immune system is doing. And so we saw her immune system was full on reacting to the pregnancy. It was crazy pants. They had to increase the steroids. They added in another med. So it's fascinating because she's not a recurrent pregnancy loss case, but she's a never been pregnant case. And really it was like, she's just that kind of person. She's in healthcare. She's super educated. She was like, I just want to do it. And so anyway, to share that story with you of like, it's a similar case in a sense. And then now she's pregnant naturally, literally naturally. They did the IUI only because her husband was traveling, or her partner, they're not married yet, was traveling. And so they had sperm. They were like, he left a sample because she was about to ovulate. She was like, I want to take the summer off. She was literally, I'm done with IVF. I'm taking the summer off. And she saw me for acupuncture. She actually came to my retreat and she got acupuncture with me at the retreat. And she said, she had done the IUI that day. And I said, start the steroids today. I want you to start the steroids, 10 milligrams, half the dose. And she called Vidali. He agreed with me. I was like, it's just a hunch, just my hunch, start it. And here we are. So we're all convinced that.
Okay, so that's something I should think about doing, an IUI before I go into IVF?
Yeah, I mean, you've never done it, but I think we collect more information. I still think, the uterus, it still has to be checked out. Like that's just still, I don't know that we need to go and rush and do PRP, but we want that,
The hysteroscopy.
uterine. Yeah, I want it.
Because I had one, no?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Yeah, this was so odd. Marco wants to see the pictures because she took pictures.
Yeah, that's it too. So it could even just be that of another opinion. Okay. So where is But you did one, when did you do that hysteroscopy?
I think it was in March, and the doctor
That's what
was
I thought.
really young, very young, and she had already said, I'm old. And she just like
Yeah.
itching me completely, donor eggs, donor eggs. It's like, and the
Yeah,
day
so that I think I'm just remembering the timeline. I still think you should repeat it personally with a seasoned physician. That would be my recommendation.
yeah, that's okay. We'll see. Okay.
Okay. You feel good? I feel like yeah. I'm like loving these office hours. I mean, I'll just say this out loud to everybody who's going to watch the recording later. It's like, it's so nice because like, look at this. You get some like, you just got an additional half-hour consult with me, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I just love seeing, all of you guys who really take advantage of all the pieces of the program, because then it's like you get this extra support and it's so good.
Yeah,
And you need it, right? And now you're like, okay, we're like, okay, we have options. You feel solid in your decision making. I mean, I hope I'm taking, I don't want to speak for you, but like, it's
my
helped.
husband is just very, he doesn't, another hysteroscopy. He says she
Right.
must have seen, it's difficult, but anyways, I
Well, and
agree.
that's it too. Like, listen, we don't have to push for like, that doesn't have to be maybe top of the line, but then the fertility testing is then what we wanted. You know what I mean? Something additional needs to be looked at. That's how I would look at it.
Yes, definitely.
Because also the fertility people would argue that, I mean, they're not going to be able to pick up scar tissue or clean up scar tissue or things like that in the uterus, but they are getting a much bigger picture of the uterus than an endometrial biopsy is getting. And they can pick up the inflammation, which then leads us down the path of like, okay, is it necessary to repeat the hysteroscopy, or can this be a medication protocol? And I love that they have an RE on that team and they'll prescribe for you. So that's also really nice for us, because that where you live and your access to care, like this really solves for it too.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome, my love. But selfishly, yeah, we'd love to see you here in the States, but don't make a trip just for us.
I was planning to move for a few months to work with them. I didn't know if adipose was for me now. I actually thought about it. Maybe in 6 months I may need it.
Yeah, I think we have time to make that decision, to be really honest. I think we have time.
Okay. And so in terms of if I don't go to the US, in terms of herbs, could we, when I know, I'll let Sarah know, and she just.
Yeah, we just reorder. I keep some in stock here. Like I'm shipping some to Poland today, to Faustina, who had a baby, but is still on herbs, because she's breastfeeding and needs more herbs. But I just did that story of hope with her. If you guys saw that, it was a great story of hope. Anyway, I do that a lot, and typically maybe without the tests in there, and we're now marking all international packages as gifts instead of anything else, not supplements, nothing. We're saying gift, and it seems to be getting to people more easily. So we can try that.
We were honest. We were like herbs.
I know. I just had a girl in the UK, and her GI map got returned to her, and she was like, I was too honest. I'm like, yeah, we're going to lie here. We're not going to say it's a biological sample. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do it. She's like, I'm like, I know you're an honest person, but like, this is, and believe me, I talked to so many physicians who work with people all over, and they were like, this is what you have to do. It's just customs. It's like, they're not going to let it through.
My mom, I told her, Mom, okay, this is what you're gonna get. Cheap t-shirts, markers, things for the academy.
Yeah.
So all in,
yeah.
And they only have a specific amount of lines, so you do not put anything, markers, pencils. I know these things.
My God, I love this. I might use this as recommendation.
Hide it in t-shirts and
yeah. And I said like boxes within box, like don't write biological substance, just write gift.
Yeah. If not, it'd be stuck.
I mean, a 3D scan for the GI map, you're going to see that sample thing. So it is, it's like, but honestly, we've been running this program a year. I'd say 30% of our students live outside the country. This is the first one that's ever got returned, hers.
Okay.
And we're doing it again. She's about to send it back.
Okay. Well, they're getting they're being very.
Yeah, well, that's it. Since COVID, things really ticked up. And then it just seems like there's a new restriction, even for us with Rejuva. We've done all this research to try to get Rejuva to ship across the borders. I mean, it's like near impossible because there's organ meats in the product. They won't let us ship. And then, so we have to find some kind of international distribution, but they take like 50%. I mean, it's like highway robbery.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure that out. Murphy now has a license in Canada and then a place in the Bahamas, and we're hoping from one of those 2 locations we can actually start shipping international.
That would be good. Definitely. So,
Figuring it out.
well, thank
Work in
you.
the system. You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna hop, and you'll keep us posted. And then just email if you need more herbs, and then we'll figure out a way we could ship to your mom or just ship directly to you, and put gift on it and figure that out. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Very.
All right. You're welcome. Make sure. Okay. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, Ellen and Linda, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.
Okay.